Hello and welcome to the WFDF World Ultimate Club Championships. We are here at the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. We've got a great matchup for you here with Germany, Seagulls versus Mexico, Malafama from women's pool play last round of the game, the day. It's Rebecca Thompson up in the booth here with Kurt Gibson. And Kurt, what do you think we're going to see today?
Oof. You know, the conditions are a little bit windy. Earlier in the day, it really wasn't as windy, and with the wind picking up, you know, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging for the teams to put together a clean offensive play. But you know what? Both these teams are searching for their first win, and with that, you can certainly expect the energy to be pretty high coming out of the gates on both of these sides, so they could get out of the gate early and hopefully some momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And both these teams with a little bit smaller rosters as well. So coming into their fourth game of the tournament, we might see a little bit of exhaustion, but that could play well into the favor of both these teams. Like you said, Kurt, looking for their first victory here at Worlds. And that is always an amazing feeling to get for a team, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it certainly is. This is my second Worlds. Italy and Lecco was the previous one that I've been to, but you know, the conditions were hot there. They always seem to be very, very hot at these tournaments, and this is no exception. The weather here is almost pushing probably 100 degrees right now, and it's, you know, you might feel like you're in the Caribbean right now, considering the amount of humidity that there is out there. So, you know, with the small rosters that these guys have, I think you could, you know, more or less say that, hey, they're going to have to figure out ways to score a little bit quickly, and you know, get things moving really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna have Malafama in the dark jerseys, the bright purple shorts, and Seagulls in the white. We're gonna get going here just in a couple minutes. Wind still, yeah, picking up a little bit. It's a little bit swirly too, Kurt. I don't know how you felt playing earlier today, but we found up here in the booth that it keeps changing directions a little bit.
Yeah, the swirly wind is certainly not a thrower's favorite type of wind, because it's a little more difficult to plan out, you know, how you're going to be throwing the disc, where you're going to throw it, the release points, what type of angle you should be putting on the disc, whether you're going to, you know, throw more outside in, inside out. So, you know, in these types of swirly winds, it's just more difficult to be able to, you know, really pinpoint those throws where you're wanting to get them to. So, you know, you just have to be a little bit more careful and be a little bit more deliberate with your throws when you're out here on a day like today. And, you know, sometimes, you know, defensively, being able to follow, you know, when pucks go up on both sides, a lot of times with this wind, they can go over someone's head, you know, they can deflect or get caught up and kind of go to the other side of the field where it was intended to. And when that happens, it's usually the teams that out-hustle each other that can come down with some of those loose balls.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see a lot of grindy points, I think, in this game, Kurt. We're going to get kicked off here with Seagulls on defense. Julia Kraus with the pull. Malafama will start us off with their O-line. We're going to be seeing a lot of familiar names out there with a small roster as well. Karen Orellana, she's first-year player. She's only been playing for a year, already captaining this team as well. I know we spoke to the team beforehand. We're going to have to look out for her. A lot of young talent on this Malafama roster as well.
Yeah, and speaking to Coach Edith Tang, who's from Texas, you know, just really spoke highly of the young players on the Mexican team. So, you know, I would imagine that, you know, the energy is what's going to carry them in this game. And, you know, they do have a small roster of just about 17 players, which is very small for a long tournament like this. But, hey, with youth, you know, I think anything's possible, and, you know, we'll see what they'll bring today.
Absolutely. We'll be kicked off here. Disc in at the brick mark for Malafama. Looking for that first underthrow. Now trying to find a reset. Seagulls shutting down that reset option. Back in the middle now, shooting over to the sideline. Mijes shoots upfield, almost collected by the Malafama player there. Mondragon looking for the disc, but it's just too far out of her hands as Seagulls gets a chance for their D-line on O, and they go deep right away. That one's floating up. Tracking down the Malafama defender, gets it back. Couldn't bring that catch in up here, but wanted that one back on D.
Yeah, as you can see, Huck went up, and it was with that swirly wind, it kind of, the offender misread it a little bit, and the defender was able to make a play on that, you know, and in no wind or perhaps a more consistent wind, that might have been a catch. So great defense and follow through from the Malafama defender.
Bianca Mijes now shoots the around backhand to a wide open player, holsters the Huck, finds an option on the near side with Naomi Campbell. Upline reeled in. Esparza upfield, that one's too low. Maybe the wind pushing that one down just a little bit to the ground as well. Kraus shoots deep, another big floaty Huck for Seagulls. That one will be reeled in just 5 yards out of the end zone now. Looking for an option, isn't finding one up front, so she holsters it. Almost milks that one into the end zone. And there's the score for Seagulls. Opening this up with a break is Inga Narjes, and Seagulls lead 1-0 here, Kurt.
Yeah, the Malafama came out in a side stack and, you know, really was able to work it towards about half the field. Dre, a University of Austin alum playing with Malafama, made an upline throw and just a little too much angle on it. And with that outside in angle, the wind is really pushing from, you know, when Malafama was going upfield from their left. The wind was coming to their left, and with that wind, with that outside in throw, it's just going to push the frisbee down. And that's exactly what you saw in that upline throw. You got to throw that a little flatter if you want that to stick out into space.
So Seagulls here from Hamburg, Germany with the first break of the game to start us off in women's Pool A action here in Ohio. We're here at the World Ultimate Club Championships. Malafama with a second chance to prove what their O-line can do, keeping a few familiar faces from that first line on the field. Naomi Campbell staying on there on the left side of the line. Definitely going to be a tall presence, I think, for this Malafama team as well.
Yeah, they came out running hard, but it's actually some great dump defense by Germany on that first possession. Really shut that down. We'll see if Malafama can continue to get open there.
Little give and go there for Malafama, working those tight spaces.
There's a Malafama offender that's wide open. There's a miscommunication on the D.
They do seem to have figured it out now. Mandujano shoots back to the middle. Esparza into coverage there, and that one was just behind where Campbell was cutting. Seagulls, the disc back in their hands again on another defensive point. Kraus shooting another big backhand Huck deep. That one's going to be tracked perfectly into the middle of the end zone for Seagulls. Just like that, another big Kraus backhand Huck. We've seen a few of those already, Kurt, and what a point there.
Yeah, that was exciting. You know, Germany got the D very quickly, and you can just see their offenders downfield are just streaking, and if they don't get it, they're coming right back down. They're resetting cutters going downfield. They are looking to huck it every single time that they have that frisbee, and you know that was a great outside-in backhand. The wind was coming off the far side of the field where she threw it, and it was able to sit up there perfectly for the cutter, as you can see right here on the replay. I mean, just a perfectly outside-in backhand. Plenty of space for her to go under, and a great catch.
Yeah, good read there from the German player. A lot of golden ring reeling in that catch to make this game 2-0. Malafama now with a little bit to prove on their O-line, Kurt.
Yeah, a little inconsistently. They came out in a side stack on the first point, and on that next possession, it looked like they started a side stack and then just kind of got in a little jumbled in the middle of the field, and it wasn't really clear where the cutters were coming from and going. So maybe a little more organization on this next point for Malafama to get him back in the game.
Narjes with a big pull down to the near side here, centered to the middle. Malafama looking for options. The reset's being taken away by Seagulls. Shoots around to the middle. Mijes. Mijes finds her receiver. Mijes now going every other throw for Malafama, but shoots that one just out of her outstretched hands. Seagulls trying to take advantage right away, but Bianca Mijes wanting that one back, and we've seen Malafama now twice make a mistake, but immediately go get that disc back.
That was a great defensive play from the Malafama defender. Great heads up, because that was a low throw. She didn't D that. That could have been caught still.
Bianca Mijes in the middle. Shoots a little into coverage there, and that one's picked off right towards the end zone to Jacobson, but that one is way too far out of the range of Ellen Jacobson. Maybe just a little bit excited there by Krebs trying to get that quick score.
That's 2 flicks, turnovers on that side of the field there. A little too hot, I would say, as far as the velocity on those throws. You know, on that sideline, the wind is coming off that line. You don't need to throw too much with too much power to make a good throw over there.
This one's reeled in under by Ortiz. Finds Mijes. Pick called. And Andrea Martinez will return the disc back to Mijes, as it did affect the play. Mijes finds a nice little reset option. Shooting, big floaty flick going up. A pick was called, and the Malafama receiver was very open upfield there.
So a pick was called. That was the first deep cut that I have seen from Malafama today, and you know, a lot of the cuts have been coming under, and they really haven't been looking to open up the deep space. So we'll see if there's a change in mentality here. But I think Malafama's got to really put pressure on the deep space in order to open up these unders, because the Seagulls are just biting on them.
Mijes now in the middle, having a hard time finding those under options. Another flick, looking deep, tracking. That one will be reeled in by Ortiz. Reset now, Martinez looking for an end zone option, calls a timeout. And Kurt, I think that's a very good call by the Malafama offense here.
Yeah, good timeout call. Looked like she might have had an option there, but you know what? I think from Malafama, they've got the disc down the field. They want to put this in, you know, down 2-0. You know, they're looking for a win here, taking the safe bet by calling a timeout, you know, collecting and setting up a play for them to hopefully punch it in here. So, you know, again, that was again the second deep cut we've seen on this point. Before that, really just a lack of deep cuts, and the Seagulls have been just sitting on those unders and really playing tight, not giving Malafama too many options.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a very quick break during this timeout. We will be back after this.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Pale green. Welcome back to the WFDF World Ultimate Championships here in Ohio. Just coming back from a timeout here, Malafama with an option just outside of the end zone. And Kurt, if you're Malafama, what are you trying to call in this situation?
Well, you know, the Seagulls have been playing great dump defense. A couple of their defenders have been playing very well. So hopefully from the stack, I would look to do, you know, fake break, come back to the 4 side and throw something out to space. You know, with the wind that it is, nice flat throw, you'd be able to let it sit out there. So we'll see what they come out with.
Disc in with Martinez. Shoots to the end zone, into coverage again, and that one is going to be D'd by Narhez for the Seagulls, and just using her body to get in front of the Malafama player there as well.
Yeah, big, tall presence. You know, just, again, biting on the unders. They are just making Malafama beat them over the top, and they're proving it's winning right now, that strategy.
Uncontested foul on the mark there. So disc remains with Seagulls, centered to the middle, around to Narhes. Narhes is going to shoot, looking deep. That one's tracked beautifully into the hands of Tack, and Tack shoots for the end zone. A layout grab, and Seagulls look like they're going to reel that one in. A little bit of a discussion on the field. The Malafama players calling that one out of bounds.
Yeah, I think she might have been in. It looked like her elbows may have hit out, but I think if we look at the replay here, her feet look to be in before. I think this one's going to be a goal.
Yeah, feet definitely inbounds first. Her body landed out, but it is the first point of contact when you're making those grabs.
So something to point out here, the Seagulls, all of their big plays have been backhands. The 2 flicks we saw on the other side of the field, both turnovers. But the backhands, they have virtually 100% completion rate. So, you know, if I'm the coach of Malafama right now, especially if we turn it on defense, got to force flick and absolutely do not let off any of those backhands, because that's what they're using to get down the field, and it's working for them.
Yeah, right now they're getting open on the break side, and that's giving them that opportunity to throw those big backhand hucks. But Malafama needs to hold tighter on that mark. I think not let those backhands go up. Like you said, they're not successful on the flick side as of yet. So up 3-0, that's 3 breaks in a row here for Seagulls out of Hamburg, Germany. Malafama out of Mexico looking to get their first score in this game. And they did such a good job there, Kurt, to work it all the way up the field. They just couldn't punch it into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, and they used the deep space well, and they were able to get the completion and get that. So I would go for it again. I would say figure out a set play to open up the deep space, take a little bit of a risk. You know, you've got the wind on your side, and make Germany go all 70 yards up the field to score. And again, figure out a way not to let any of those backhands to get off.
Big outside in pull for Germany as the disc is now centered.
Great defense. Again, bidding on the unders.
Raduhanu struggling to find an option. Mijes now shoots up the sideline, finds Vasquez. And now a nice floaty flick though. And that one was easily picked off by the Seagulls defender.
That was an athletic play right there. Great athletic play.
Yeah, she just got up for that one there. Give Seagulls now another opportunity for their defensive line to break as they swing to the middle. Centered now. Using a bit more of this flick side right now.
Yep, Malafama is forcing flick. There's a turn.
Yeah, and unfortunately there, Walzak couldn't hang on to that one. A little bobble. I think this is the first time Malafama is working on getting these discs back into their hands. Need to work to find their open options. That's a great swing to gain yards there for Mijes. And an unfortunate bobble upfield by Vasquez, and that really is too bad to see because they were working it up well there, Kurt.
They were working it great. You just saw the disc just take a big dip right before she was about to catch it, and quite unfortunate because they were looking very good.
Mijes almost in on the D, but that one's reeled in by Dorst.
You could see, though, on that Malafama offensive possession there, the space shots sitting in the wind. They were doing a good job leveraging the wind. There's another backhand.
That is a beautiful backhand throw there by Walzak. Incredible break, sitting it up to the far corner of the end zone, and just like that, it's 4-0. And Kurt, at this point, if you're Malafama, what can you do differently to stop these backhands from going up?
Yeah, you know, it's almost one of those things that, as if you turn it over, first of all, the folks that have been on the line from Malafama, they've been playing, they haven't really subbed much, right? You can see some of the top players coming off right now, getting some fresh legs in, but defensively, got to figure out a way to maybe throw a few poaches on, more no around, right? It seemed like those flick marks were kind of just regular quarter marks, right, where you're stopping a little bit of the upfield and a little bit of the around. I think you got to figure out a way to really beat you with those inside flicks and don't overrun, because that was an overrun right there, and she was able to get off a great pass.
So Seagulls looking for their 5th break of the game. Malafama yet to get onto the scoreboard here. They're definitely going to want to change that soon. We see a few new faces on the line. Like you said, Kurt, they were playing the same players most of those first few points, so maybe a good thing to open it up, get some fresh legs in here.
I think they got to move it quick here, and more on the left side of the field, the backhand side. The wind will help them with their passes.
Castellanos now. Holstering doesn't have an option. Needs a reset. Shoots up line. That's going to be collected.
That was a great pass.
Guyen now goes up line. Shooting flick towards the end zone. That one will be grabbed, and there we have it. A score by Leon for Malafama to bring this game to 4-1.
You almost saw a little complacency from the Seagulls. I don't know if it was a little fatigue, but I mean, maybe it was the freshness of the offenders from Malafama, but they had about 3 up lines in a row where they just, you know, roasted their defender up the line. Were able to get a nice pass, even on the high stall counts. And, you know, kudos to Malafama for being willing to take that risk on an upfield, or excuse me, an upwind flick, and was able to get that completion. Malafama has got to continue to put the pressure on the deep throws, and especially on those handler cuts up line. If the Seagulls are going to give them that, they got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well read by the Malafama player there, Leon. Just waiting for that disc to come into her hands, and no pressure as well. So I want to see Malafama use some of those deep shots a little bit more. They're getting themselves into some better spaces as this game goes on. Now we get our first opportunity as well, Kurt, to see what their defensive unit can do.
Yeah, you gotta imagine that Malafama is excited to get out here on D and put a little pressure on the Seagulls now that they've got a point on the board.
So the pull coming up here for the Mexican team. That one will sit just in bounds on the far side. Centered right away.
So you do see Dre out there. You see Bianca, number 16, from Malafama's offensive line. So I'm sure they're looking to get a turn here and be able to have the right throws on the field to make a chance at a score.
Claudia shoots that one up line. Prunes finds another option upfield. Working the sideline, we've got Annika Pren with the disc as she goes back around. Now over to the far side with Krebs. Seawald shoots that one really low, well reeled in to keep that one alive by Linz. And that's an easy backhand pass to the end zone, and that is exactly the backhands we have been talking about all game.
It was a little bit of a mistake right there from Dre, the University of Texas alum. Maybe a little fatigue, but she just overran that flick mark, and they easily just threw a nice backhand out to space. And going to that end zone, the backhand just sits up perfectly. If you throw it a little bit flat, it's just the wind is going to keep that up, and it's just too easy of a throw. You see Dre right here on the wrong side. She throws up a nice backhand for a score.
And I think every single score we've seen from Seagulls has been off that backhand side.
It has. It has. I think this is where, you know, we were talking to head coach Edith Tang right before the game, and, you know, the one thing she mentioned is that a very, very young team. And, you know, I think these types of mistakes are something you see from some of the younger teams, and, you know, simple things like holding the force, you know, just if you're looking to beat some of these international teams, or just, you know, the mistakes that you can't afford to make.
So Seagulls ready with another defensive point out here. We'll have Narhes with the pull. Centered now. Breland streaks up line, reels that one in, throws the backhand. That one's going to float up. Reading it, and she comes down with that. Orielena just on the end zone line looking for a reset. Martinez now. And a huge layout block by Seagulls flying in, as I thought that was going to be an easy catch there for Malafama.
You just hate to see that happen. Cotton, who made that play, 25 of Malafama, has only been playing 1 year and is a captain, and you know, unfortunately able to stick it in there on the end zone line.
Yeah, Martinez just on the replay here throws in. And now another opportunity here. Guyen shoots to the middle. Castellanos finds Guillen upfield. Malafama working it up this near sideline as Martinez looks for an option, centers to Guillen. Guillen going every other pass here, but shoots that one too high. And again, maybe a little fatigue that we've talked about coming into play. A lot of traffic and contact, though, in that little area there.
Yeah, it's just the defender there, just much taller than the offenders there. They didn't have much of a chance with that high ball.
So it looks like a retracted call. Disc will return with the Seagulls.
Great defense again from the Seagulls, putting a lot of pressure and making Malafama work very, very hard.
Disc around to the side and fakes the backhand this time. That's something we haven't seen them do a lot here. Far
Another break.
back to the middle now.
Mark looks a little too flat for Malafama here.
The pick called upfield. A lot of traffic in the middle of the field there, getting a little bit congested.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of fatigue coming in there with the last game of the day, their 4th game of the tournament already. And also quite a lot of heat down there on the field as well.
Yeah, running around there right now, I mean, again, it's pushing 100 degrees right now with the humidity. You know, this defensive line from the Seagulls has been out there a lot as well, so even they, who playing defense, have been scoring. Oh.
And that's another flick opportunity that hasn't worked there for the Seagulls as they tried to go up line, but Malafama picking off that flick side every single time.
Yeah, another great play, though, from Malafama on that. You know, the Seagulls, again, had some opportunities, but decided to throw that flick and, you know, into a little too much pressure, and Malafama came down with the D.
Malafama looking to grind out this point, shooting inside. Guillen goes up line. And a floaty
It's gonna work.
flick, but that settles down into the hands of Ramirez. Shoots back to Guillen. She runs that one down.
Guillen is getting open almost at will here, and she's really the one driving the bus here. She's got to get involved in almost every single one of these throws.
And there, a little bit of excitement from Ramirez. Got the disc on the break side, looking for that open option into the end zone, but that option was unfortunately covered, just releasing that one a little too early. So Seagulls will take a timeout here. A long point could be a momentum shift for Malafama if they could get this point and get this hold. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back after this timeout.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Wow.
All right, we are back here with live action from the World Ultimate Club Championships here at the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. We've got Germany Seagulls leading this game 5-1 over Mexico Malafama. We're just breaking out of a timeout here taken by the Seagulls, and we will get back to the live action. And Kurt, what do you think we've seen so far in this game?
Well, you know, Germany has been playing great defense, biting on the unders. I think they know that Malafama is a young team, and usually what comes with young teams is, you know, less disc skills, especially in windy conditions like this. So they are biting on the unders, and it's been working. And, you know, offensively, they've just been able to take advantage of those turns and throw up some nice backhands and been able to come down with them.
So there's a pick called in the middle of the field there. Jacobson centered that disc, but I don't think it will affect the play. Disc will remain in the middle of the field. Malafama trying to take away those backhand breaks. And Jacobson shoots that one, a big around backhand. Trying to track that one down, but can't quite get there is Nargis.
If I'm Malafama right now, Guillen needs to try to go every other. She's a lefty, and in this wind, it's much harder to throw a flick. The backhand is a much easier throw.
And that's Guillen shooting that beautiful backhand down, but can't keep her toes in bounds or hang on to the disc there. I like that idea, though, from Malafama.
That is the play. That is what they need to be doing this direction of the field. Guillen's a lefty backhand is a much easier throw than a righty flick. And you saw, even though that throw was out of bounds, that is the best offense that, offensive chance that they've got to move it down the field consistently.
Kraus shooting deep. Another floaty huck. This one's going to be chased down and sails out of bounds. And Malafama is going to want to take advantage of this turn. I think, Kurt, there's only so many times you can give Seagulls back the disc at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting off the throws. So one of these times, if you keep giving them those opportunities, the Seagulls are going to take advantage of them like they have. Malafama has been lucky. The pass have been a little bit too far. But they've really got to stop those on the mark. They've put a little bit of pressure on, but they almost seem a little bit behind when they get that break mark throw, that they've got to really sell out to stop that and make a dive perhaps before.
Castellano shoots that flick deep, and that one will be reeled in. An amazing score for Malafama as Oriana there, reeling that one in.
Their one-year captain, for the second time, made a great catch offensively. Made a great read, and unfortunately last time they turned in on the goal line, and this time she was in the end zone.
Yeah, Karen Oriana there, her second point of the game already. Only been playing Ultimate for a year, already a captain of this Malafama team, and I think we're starting to see why, Kurt. She leads by example on this field for these Mexicans.
Yeah, that was just a great play, a great aggressive play. Had no fear going up over the defender and just got right up there and read it perfectly. But you know what? That was we talked about the lefty backhand from Guillen, just really their best opportunity to get that upfield. But that was an incredible throw by Castellanos. I mean, that was a perfectly. You saw the flick blade over a little bit, which naturally it will do with that type of wind. But I mean, that was an incredible throw. I mean,
yeah,
that's exactly giving her the opportunity to make Karen make that play. Incredible.
A fantastic decision as well, Kurt. I think maybe they can hear you down there saying that they should huck the disc a little bit more. As a commentator, you sometimes wish that they can hear what you're saying. So starting to throw those deep options now. We've got Seagulls centering the disc now, back on offense, leading this game 5-2 over Malafama. Finds an option on the near side. Golden ring. And that one is shot deep, hanging up, but she manages to come down with that. Wasn't on the right side of the Malafama player, but somehow reaches that one up, reads it well, and Olivieri there with the score makes this 6-2.
That was a great read there. A great throw, just throwing it up. Olivieri had the height advantage, and you saw originally she didn't have the right position, got the inside. The Malafama defender tried to go back around, but at that point she had already taken the right position. It was just able to use her height and come down with that frisbee and to box her out. Great offensive play.
Yeah, fantastic grab there. Just taking advantage of their height and their speed right now. They love these deep throw options as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the flick being a little bit harder, but when you've got a receiver that's clearly strong, has the height advantage, sometimes you're able to come down with those, and against inexperienced teams, those can be beneficial.
Yeah, I do think that that's the first flick goal we have seen here from Seagulls, so maybe good for them as well. A little bit of confidence knowing that those are starting to work. Leading this game 6-2. Malafama looking to hang on. They really do need to get this hold at this point.
They really do. We'll see what they come down with. They've started some of their early plays and side stack, then have changed the vert since, but right now, looks like they're coming out in a side stack.
Esparza will collect this to the brick mark to get us going here for Malafama. Malafama starting in a horizontal set. Shooting around, finds Mijes. She shoots upfield and just slips out of her hand as she tries to release that flick.
Yeah, the humidity out here, sometimes that'll happen, is just unfortunate. You grip it hard to make a solid upfield pass. With the humidity, it just slips right out.
Looking for an option, finds Jacobson back. Jacobson throws a little high release backhand to Guldenring, who shoots upfield. Finds Walzak, who shoots a big flick to the end zone. That one sails too far, maybe the wind pushing that one just a little bit too far for her to bid for it.
Yep, another flick on that side of the field. You know, if you're almost Malafama, you know, you could say, hey, let's get it to that side, force it to that side of the field, even if we give up 20, 30 yards and make them try and throw a throw that, you know, they're not confident in completing.
Campbell now in the middle. Esparza shoots the flick huck. That one's trailing perfectly into the hands of her receiver. Vasquez finds her reset. Bianca Mijes now shoots around. That works to Campbell, and that's reeled into the end zone, and maybe a little bit of luck on the side of the Mexicans here.
I think we could all say that, at least from our vantage point, that was not to that original receiver. But hey, you know what? Going to that end of the field, you know, hey, whatever works. Sometimes you steal a couple, and that's what's the difference in making those plays. But
yeah.
Good heads-up play by Naomi Campbell, because that was not meant for her.
Exactly. I was going to say the exact same thing. You took the words out of my mouth. A great heads-up play. That's what you want to be able to do for your teammates. It's not always going to come out the way that you want when you release it. So to have teammates that have your back and can turn around and make those crucial grabs, very important.
It's almost like, though, it's almost like that the offensive thrower was stealing something out of the Seagulls playbook, though, because although that wasn't meant for her, that she made that backhand throw into the wind, so she at least knew, hey, it's going to sit up, and my receiver is likely going to have a chance at it, even if I don't throw it exactly where I want it to be. You see those flicks going the other direction? If you don't throw those perfect, those are likely going to be turnovers.
So Malafama with another chance here to try and get a break on defense. They were broken 4 times in a row, and since then, Kurt, we've been trading points, so need to find some sort of defensive spark as right away Seagulls go deep. That one's reeled in. The second throw perfectly sitting into the end zone. Plenty of time for Prien to read that. And just like that, 7-3.
That was, I think that was, you know, if I'm Malafama, it almost seemed a little too easy. I mean, great athletic play from the Seagulls, you know, throwing a nice flick upwind, catching it, great follow by Gouldering, and, you know, almost just a little too easy. You know, if I'm the Seagulls, I'm thinking, hey, whatever Malafama's bringing right now, we can handle it. So, you know, maybe Edith could think about maybe putting a little bit of a zone. They do have a young team, but I got to think making Germany throw a few more throws than they haven't, just to get them out of their rhythm, just to give them something, you know, a different look, and potentially, you know, steal a couple turnovers. Yeah,
absolutely. I've got to say I would agree with the zone point as well. I think is a very valuable thing with a little bit of wind, at least to try it and go down and see what Seagulls can do against it. If they break it perfectly, great. Don't have to put it on again, but I think at this point, definitely worth giving it a try. So Malafama ready on offense again. We've been trading points after those first 4 breaks of the game. Let's see what their offense can generate, as that one's just going to sail out of bounds. And Bianca Mijes is going to get a chance to bring this to the brick mark.
I'd like to see a deep look here from Malafama. Look, they're running a flood play. They tried to run a flood play without the disc being checked in. That's a little bit of a youth and inexperience here.
Esparza trying to get to that one, and she calls the foul. Looks like a no contest as the arm there of WUCC just getting on the inside, making a little bit of contact.
Yeah, I almost thought that just probably shouldn't have been thrown because they were very, very tight there. But, you know, Dre, the Texas alum, you know, one of their top players now, you probably a little too much trust in that.
Esparza now finds Mijes up line. Mijes holsters that. Big pump fake on the flick, looking for Esparza again. Doesn't find her, goes with the around backhand. That sits into space there. As Correo shoots upfield now. And an around flick, and that one's not gonna sit up. I don't think that's what she wanted there, Kurt.
No, you saw the offender streaking up the left side of the field. She saw her. She knew where she wanted to go with the Frisbee, but, you know, the wind, there's a little too much angle on it. And I don't know if it was the moisture on her hand or how that came out, but it just came out too blady, and there was just no chance for the receiver.
So Seagulls now, another chance to break, to take half here. They shoot a big flick.
It's a nice upfield flick there.
Find easy work up the sideline. A big flick hook. That one's gonna fade slightly away, but the receiver manages to track that disc flying away from her, and Narges with the score to take us to halftime.
Wow.
That was incredible, Kurt.
That was a great play. You know, one of the only flick that has worked to that end part of the field, and it was fading away from the receiver. I think that's actually probably why it works. It came out a little bit flat, so it ended up fading away, and she just went right around Naomi Campbell to make that trailing edge play. That was outstanding.
Yeah, Naomi Campbell there, I think, just saw the disc trailing away from her and thinking, oh, maybe I've got this. But a great play there from Inga Narges, dominating that movement upfield there. So that takes us to halftime here between Seagulls of Germany and Malafama of Mexico. Germany leads 8-3. We will take a short break, and we'll be back soon.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play ultimate, we live ultimate.
Welcome back here to the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. We're at the WFDF World Ultimate Club Championships, and we're watching the game between Seagulls from Germany and Mexico. Malafama, Kurt Gibson here in the booth with me, Rebecca Thompson. And Kurt, we're going to see some highlights here. And what do you think we've seen so far in this game? How would you describe this matchup?
Well, I think the Seagulls definitely showing more athleticism, more experience, better overall disc skills, and just, you know, I think with that experience, just making some of the more smarter decisions and just better tactically overall using their strengths.
Yeah, we're seeing a few shots of those backhand breaks that they've managed to throw to the far side of the field. A nice layout D there as well. Some good reads from the Malafama players in the end zone, but unable to generate very many chances on defense.
Yeah, I think, you know, Malafama, a young team, again, they've got you know, not many players with much experience, but, you know, to be playing on this stage, playing a team, you know, European team that's been around, you know, clearly has experience, has throwers that can make both, you know, big flicks and backhands in all areas of the wind, all sides of the wind. I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean, they are out here, they're running hard, and it is a hot day. It is a hot day.
All right. Definitely a hot day down here. Gearing up for a second half. Malafama is going to have a big performance here. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more women's pool play action soon.
My name is Zara. I go by she and her pronouns. I am white. I live in Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm Chip. I go by she, her pronouns. I identify as Asian American or Korean American. I am from Los Angeles, but I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
My name is Will Neff. I am he, him, his, and I'm white. I'm from Amherst, Mass, which is close to where I currently live, in Conway, Mass.
Hi, I'm Sass. I'm from New York City, but I was born in Texas. I'm African American.
There's a lot of ways that we're looking to really become comfortable making power explicit so that we can become more comfortable breaking down some of those cultural patterns.
So some of the ways that we're going to do that are by assuming good intent and then taking care of impact. So often people who hold dominant identities really focus on intent. Say, well, that's not what I meant, that's not what I meant, and we get stuck there instead of taking care of the impact of something. We want to make sure that we are sort of bringing attention to, in terms of making power explicit, things that maybe we need to stop for a second and say, hold on, that maybe hit me a different way, or can we stop, can we pause and talk about that, about the impact of what was said. Patriarchy sort of infiltrates each of us internally, is that we are very used to thinking in binaries. Is something right or is it wrong? And that's something that we all do all the time. In different situations, call ourselves back to saying, well, both of these things can exist, because in order to really think about complexity, we have to step out of thinking of things as binaries.
Oftentimes with these conversations, the end result is usually, okay, what's the answer? How do I fix it? If there was a solution, we wouldn't have to have this conversation. So this is, a disclaimer for now and always in eternity. Expect non-closure. We constantly have to adapt. Keep in mind that non-closure is something that will happen after this and beyond.
Welcome back to the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. We were just seeing some shots there of the gender equity workshops that have been going on here in Ohio. Another one being held tonight. If you're around, go check it out. It'll be at the Marriott Hotel. We're back to bring you second half action from the women's Pool A division here. The last round of the day, the last pool play game for both these teams. Both these teams yet to find a win here. Germany Seagulls leading 8-3 over Mexico Malafama. And Kurt, how would you sum up the first half for us?
Germany just executing very, very well. Malafama showing their youth in different scenarios, showing a little bit of light, and some highlights, and that Malafama, hey, there's some good things going here, but just not as much consistency as you would need, to compete, like a team like the Seagulls. So, if I'm Malafama here in the second half, I'm thinking, hey, got more energy, figure out ways to stop the backhands, come around more on those marks and make them throw flicks, and see if you can get them to throw some turns and steal some.
So we've got Mexico Malafama here starting out on defense, looking to get us going in this second half action from the World Ultimate Club Championships. You can see the flags billowing around in the background. Still quite a bit of wind here. That pole will sit right into the middle of the field for Seagulls. Krebs shoots around to the side, and here we've got that zone look we were talking about earlier. Something different from the Malafama defense, as the Seagulls look to swing that disc around.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about before the end of the half, just giving Germany a different look, making him throw some passes, see if he can steal one, and there you go.
And that's exactly the difference maker that Malafama might need to climb back into this game. Still looking for their first break of the game. Esparza will pick it up on the near side, about 20 yards out of the end zone here. A really good opportunity for these Mexican women. Shooting inside to Campbell. Campbell now finds Ramirez. Ramirez over to the far side. Looks into the end zone, and that's a break for the Mexicans as Madujano reels in that upline score. The first break of the game for Malafama, 8-4.
You could just see the excitement on Malafama's faces when they scored. I mean, just, you know, breaking right out of half. That is exactly the kind of momentum changer that you would need to get back in this game. I mean, and frankly, you know, the coach must have, you know, heard us or, you know, seen the exact same thing that we were seeing. You know, we did hear, you know, Edith Tang at halftime talk about the backhands, you know, stopping those, but, you know, coming out a different look just like they did exactly what they needed to do to change things up.
Absolutely, and sometimes as well, Kurt, just that confidence to know that you can break another team's offensive line. Great way to start the second half. That is absolutely the spark of energy you need. And often with young players, momentum is such a big factor as well. Getting your teammates pumped up can really be a game changer.
Yeah, it really can. Energy and momentum in a game of Ultimate can swing very, very quickly and can last for multiple points. So, you know, if Malafama could keep the momentum and energy going, you know, this game could be close, you know, in a matter of, you know, 5-10 minutes. So we'll see what happens.
Ultimate is a game of runs and momentum. Big pull here for Malafama. That one's just going to sit up to the far side of the field. A little bit of wind catching that one as well. Another zone look from Malafama. Seagulls a little trapped on the far side, have to shoot an around flick into some coverage, but now running easily upfield as Priyan has it. Priyan shoots the flick, and that's going to be picked off by Esparza. That's the kind of coverage that Malafama wants them to shoot into. Esparza now with the big flick, looking for Campbell. That's going to directly sit into her hands. And Campbell with the veteran timeout call.
And just like that, 65 yards up the field after a Seagulls break through that zone. There was not a Malafama defender in sight, and Dre comes out of nowhere to make a great play and throw a nice flick upwind.
Yeah, Malafama with that zone look really working for them so far. They pulled it out 2 points in a row here. We saw 1 point, the cup forced the error. The second one, the deep coverage, taking away that option in the form of Esparza, and she just dominated right after up line to this gorgeous flick huck into the wind. It trails off, but directly into the hands of Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell looks for a first option and then makes the veteran call, in my opinion.
I don't know if I like the timeout call there. You know, you're in the center of the field. You know, generally from what we've seen in the what we did see in the first half, is that Malafama has not been as successful off the set plays, but kind of once the disc is getting moving, we've seen them be a little bit more fluid, making a few up-line cuts, you know, getting an upwind backhand or flick off. So, you know, we'll see what happens at the timeout, but either way, you know, Malafama worked it up nicely there.
Absolutely.
We'll point out that that was another flick turnover from the Seagulls. It was on the backhand side, but almost seems like an omen or something, but the flicks generally, you know, they're about 1 for 8 or 9 right now.
Yeah, definitely an interesting stat considering that they've been forced flick in this entire game. You would generally expect to see a few more of those completed here. Malafama with a chance for a second break in a row, bring this game within 3 points. What a start to the second half this would be if they can convert.
They have a deep stack here. Look for Dre to just streak across the field, see if they can get an upline pass for the goal.
Campbell will pick up. Stall count should be low here.
Look, looks like she's setting up to get some momentum here. There she goes, going up the line.
to Esparza. Esparza right on the end zone line, waiting for an option, and a pick called. It's a very open Mandujano there.
Yeah, they had a 5 come off the back towards the 4 side. That was their quick first look, and then Dre shot right up the line. I'm sure they're wishing now she was in the end zone, but if you want the disc in somebody's hands on Malafama right now, that's who you want it in.
Esparza shoots the backhand around, finds Mandujano, who's open on the break side, and just like that, we've got 2 breaks in a row here for Malafama.
Yep, we've got a game now, folks. Great play from Dre. Almost basically got the bookend. She got the D on the, other side of the field and worked it up. A great flick fake here, as you can see. Got the mark jumping in the air and flipped it for the backhand for the goal. Just a very, very heads-up play and smart. Way to be patient. Dre's probably one of the more experienced persons on this team, and she just had a quick fake and around the end zone. Those are the critical moments that can make or break a game. And when you're down by 5, 4, now 3 points, making sure you connect on those is critical.
So it looks like a timeout called here by Seagulls, just looking to stop the momentum of Malafama as they have come out absolutely firing from this halftime break. And whatever Coach Edith Tang said to them in that huddle, it really got them going, Kurt.
Yeah, hope we got a recording. I think there's a lot of other teams that could use that pump-up speech or whatever it ended up being, but they certainly, I think the energy seems a little bit higher, obviously with the change in coming down in a zone has really just, you look at the Seagulls, they definitely don't seem, worried, I would say, at this point, but, they definitely are kind of a little bit shocked that they've gotten broken twice in a row now.
So Seagulls with a little bit to prove here. Malafama at this point, Kurt, with absolutely nothing to lose as well. They know that the ball is in their court, the momentum's on their side. Chance now to get a 3rd break in a row.
Yeah, I would imagine they come down in another zone. No reason to go away from it. Make the Seagulls beat you with that zone. They did break through last time, but again, Dre was able to make a great play, so I would stick with it if I'm Malafama.
That disc lands just on the far side, now into the middle. We're back into a person set here. Upfield now, Seagulls working this near sideline. Kipri centers back to the middle, finds Seawald to the far side. Kraft shoots a big backhand hook into coverage, and that one's picked off. A lot of jostling there, but the player who got the final D not involved at all. And Malafama with another chance.
Yeah, great D, although to the Seagulls, that's the look you want. That's the look you've been winning with all game. So, no reason not to do it. I would say in this scenario, there was about 3 offenders and 3 defenders, so a little too much clutter there. But overall, still what you'd want if you're the Seagulls.
That one, a late stall count throw, and it works for Malafama. They've managed to come down with some of these last-ditch throws. A little bit of a confidence booster there for them as
great
Martinez just roasts up line, shoots the flick, tracking, and that one's picked off by the defense, but Martinez with that phenomenal upline cut there.
That was wicked, to say the least. She had her defender 10 yards behind her. That was a great cut up line. It looked like the defender bid knowing that it was a high stall count, and sometimes that'll happen. A heads up defender can get beat like that, though, thinking that the odd defender will make that dump throw. But great play.
Disc around now to Krebs. Into the middle. Prunes just distributing the disc now as she gets it back in the middle of the field. Krebs up line on the near side now. A pick was called as Eva Maria Linz there tried to move the disc quickly, but the disc will have to return.
I think if you're Malafama here, you got to be a little careful. I actually saw a backhand mark. They look like they're still going flick, but There was a backhand mark out there, so still potentially a little confusion on where they're marking, but they've got to be a little bit better on the mark if they're going to stop the Seagulls from making this score.
So Francisca Krebs will get us back in play here on stall 4 for the Seagulls. Disc in play. Around to the far side. Seawald now. Seawald fakes the big flick. Into the middle. Seagulls just trying to control the pace as they go to the near side and find Prunes here. Kraft shoots applied. And a nice little upline throw to find Svenja Prunes in the end zone. And Seagulls making that look very easy, Kurt.
That was a great offensive set from Germany. I mean, they really just took what the defense gave them. I wasn't quite sure what Malafama was doing. It looked like it was almost a forced middle. I saw some backhands out there, saw some flick marks. But unfortunately, it seemed like there was just a little too much confusion on the Malafama side. Some of the marks that they would get on, they almost started too far away, and that gave the Seagulls just really easy throws, and you can't give these guys that much space because they're just taking advantage of it, and they showed it on that point. Great offensive point from the Seagulls.
Yeah, textbook point there. Interested in the defensive decisions here from Malafama. I would love to see that zone set come back down. I do think that was working from them, causing some poor choices, at least from the Seagulls throwers, which is not something they've done in most of this game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Obviously, offensive point. They're not going to want to turn it over once, so we may not see it. You've got Esparza back on the field, Bianca Mijes as well, Naomi Campbell. Dominant presences here so far from Malafama.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably setting up for a side stack. I would really look for those up lines, try to hit those coming up the field, and look for a huck look like they have. That's been working for them.
Ramirez now on the far side. Shoots around to Esparza. Esparza finds Mijes under coverage. She reels that one in. Ramirez now in the middle. Leon. Bianca Mijes releases that one. That's not exactly what she wanted.
Oh, she almost came down with that.
And that one from Mijes just seemed to slip out of her hand once again and ended up floating up above her receiver.
Yeah, you can tell Bianca was a little disappointed with that throw, just much too high, just a true 50-50 ball. But, oh, look, they're coming down in a zone here. We'll see if Malafama can get it back.
Seagulls trying to work it through the middle. Resets. Malafama forcing them to this flick side here. Jacobson fakes the backhand, throws the cheeky scoober over top. Kraus now. Wustenberg finds Kraus again. Over to Jacobson. That's all the way into the very, very close corner of the end zone. I'm not sure if that was in yet. A little discussion there from Esparza. Disc will return just outside of the end zone for the Seagulls. And that's easy work for Narges, who goes up line, makes this game 10-5, and Seagulls starting to make this look easy again, Kurt.
Yeah, Narges, really just seems to come through for the Seagulls when they need it most. She's gotten some great Ds. She's made some nice skies, even thrown a couple nice backhands upwind, and great upline cut from Narges. She's probably the MVP for the Seagulls right now. Although, to be honest, they've all been playing quite well considering, the wind and, the score, of course. But, looking at that zone from Malafama, again, the Seagulls were able to really just get whatever they wanted, throw some nice fakes and some crafty scoobers that you don't see every day, and just right on the money. Those was great. But Malafama, if they get to do that zone again, a little more organization. You could tell there was some of the, depending on where they were in the cup, there was too many gaps, just too many gaps. They've got to figure out a way to truly make a wall, prevent the Seagulls from getting those cut cut throws right through the center of the field. They just were able to take advantage of those a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe just needed a little bit more communication from their backfield in the zone there as well. A little bit silent down on the field. And now we've got a chance here for Seagulls starting to run away with this game. We had a little bit of excitement right out of half. Malafama scoring 2 breaks right off the bat, but Seagulls took a deep breath, took a timeout after that second break, and they've come out and made this look easy once again. Esparza, Leon shoots the flick towards the end zone. Misread by, unfortunately, both of the players there, and sometimes that defender going up early can suck you in when you're on offense, and unfortunately misread there by Leon.
And that's exactly what happened. A taller German defender was underneath. The Mexican offender came in to try to adjust to that, but really it was going over her head the entire time, and unfortunate for Malafama, but great heads up D.
Walczak now looking for an option, finds Jacobson up line. A stall down call. Contested. Little discussion here happening on the field. Overall, Kurt, we've had a very clean game in terms of calls.
Yeah, I can't remember if there has been any calls at all. Very clean game, very spirited game from both teams. It's nice to see.
So Esparza will tap the disc back in on stall 8. Walczak probably looking to go right up line here again to Jacobson. Instead, pumps the flick, and that is not coming back in. Malafama is going to get a good chance here with the disc only about 10 yards out of the end zone.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for Malafama right now. Walczak usually a sure thrower, definitely, you know, veteran, smart throws, but on a high stall count, forced to make a quick decision that didn't pay off for him.
Esparza opted to go for the flick to the near side, but a miscommunication there as her teammate stopped her cut, unfortunately.
Those are the ones you got to get if you're going to come away or keep this game close. So Malafama better figure out a way to get this disc back.
A pick called in the middle of the field as Dutlinger has it on the near sideline. Seagulls just trying to work this back up, trying to really hammer in the victory here. They're only a few points away now, making this work look easy. An injury call, so a sub will come in here for Seagulls. Dutlinger will keep the disc here on the near sideline. Leon on the mark.
The Seagulls put this one in, that would be a very back-breaking type of score here. They're already up 5, you know, which is a very comfortable lead, but after that kind of turnover from Dre, it would be a big score.
And a great read there from Jacobson, and now she's going to shoot a big around backhand towards the end zone, but a foul called. Esparza getting in front, getting the body position there. A little hard to see from our angle, Kurt, but I'm not 100% sure what happened there.
Yeah, it looked like Dre got position on the inside. You could see a little bit of incidental contact. She was kind of basically jumping up and back, and it looks like the German offender thought that Dre came into them. Looked like she was prevented from jumping when Dre came back into her.
Looks like the resolution was an uncontested foul as Seagulls kept the disc near the end zone line. Jacobson shooting that one into coverage, but it's still caught. And I've got to say, Kurt, a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events there for Malafama. That they made a good play on that D.
You know, it really was. It's unfortunate. I mean, the Malafama had the disc 10 yards out. Those are the types of ones you've got to put in. Be a little bit patient if you want to stay in this game.
We're going to take a quick break. We will be back with more action just after this.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train.
Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Welcome back to the World Ultimate Club Championships here at the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. We're in last round action of the day here with Germany Seagulls taking on Mexico Malafama. Seagulls running away with this game right now, Kurt. They're up 11-5. And I think that last point really starting to put the nails into the coffin.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Malafama there.
Malafama with one of their best hucks of the game there, but not reeled in.
That was a great play. You saw Karen, who actually came down with most of those earlier this year.
Immediately a turnover though, and Oriana will reel that one in for her third score of the game.
A little redemption for Oriana right there. She missed that beautiful backhand that was put up earlier in the point. Just misread it a little bit, but redemption there. Caught the nice flick from Guillen.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Kurt, as well, I like that initial pull play, that quick movement from Malafama to recognize the option to go deep right off the bat. Oriana wide open, streaking up here, but can't hang on. Read it well, but just slightly too high out of her fingers, but she immediately went and got that one back.
You could tell how upset she was, slamming the ground with her fist, but no fear, the one-year player, Oriana, captain, only been playing a year, showed aggressiveness, got right back up and said, feed it to me again, and made a great play.
11-6 now here for Seagulls, still leading over Malafama. Malafama still looking to get a couple more breaks back into this game. There's still 31 minutes left in this game, Kurt, so plenty of time as well.
You know, this is the direction you want to get it. They got the more or less upwind break right there, or excuse me, score. And if they can figure out a way to kind of get this, you know, puts them a little bit closer to getting back in this game. Although they're mismatch here.
The flick shot up, that one hangs around. That works into the hands of Pren, who now has it on the end zone line. She finds the option in Svenja Prunes, and Seagulls again making it look quite easy out there.
Yeah, a little bit too easy. Dre was slow to get down on the dump, but just made a great cut out of the stack from the Seagulls, and what almost looked like a very bladey flick actually just flowing straight into the offender's hand. That is a difficult throw. That is not an easy throw. In this type of wind, you'll see throw come out high, reading it slowly into this, getting it slightly into the sun there, but just basically hitting her right in stride. Great throw.
Yeah, and this Seagulls team started back in 1990 in Hamburg. Started as an open team, eventually transitioned to also having a women's team back in 2002. They took a brief break in the later years. They had some troubles getting players now, but now they've got 2 teams in their program, over 40 women playing over in Hamburg as well. So clearly a good program here now, and they're building, and you can see that chemistry as well, and their experience is really showing in this game.
Yeah, it's great to see. Great to see so many teams from all around the world come. You can see different styles of play, different experiences, different experience levels. You know, obviously the Malafama team a little much more inexperienced, but nonetheless showing some true effort here.
And that's a huge backhand hook, sailing out of bounds, but Guillen, again with the gorgeous lefty backhand hook, is just being pushed out of that corner of the end zone.
You know, if I'm the coach of Malafama, I'm almost doing that every single time. I mean, that was great speed showed by Karen Orellana again. I mean, almost looked like a track sprinter there. Unfortunately, it was a little bit out of bounds, but that was a perfect put-up wind. I mean, some of the best throw we've seen all day was out of bounds, but, you know, that's probably their best option.
And immediately a turnover here from Seagulls, a bit uncharacteristic. Just a miscommunication there as her cutter was coming back in. Immediately the flick sailing over, well read by Martinez. Sorry, that's Ortiz with the score. Daniela Ortiz reeling that one in to make this game 12-6.
Showing no fear on that upwind flick right there.
Yeah,
from Castellanos. She's thrown a couple of those today and been pretty successful, you know. Her along with Guillen, you know, the flick and the backhand, they make a pretty good combo right around the sideline here. I mean, I think any other type of strategy as far as the way that they're bringing it up the field has not been as successful as, you know, Guillen and Castellanos throwing some nice upwind flicks and backhands. I think we got to figure out a way to Malafama to use some more of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And important to note as well, in the second half of this game, these teams are actually tied 2 breaks apiece, and they've traded as well. So it really just goes back to the start of that game, Kurt, going down 4-0, really digging themselves a hole. If we were just looking at the second half, it would be 5-5 right now.
Yep, we've seen great play from both teams. You know, mixing it up defensively from Malafama. We've seen some great offense from the Seagulls, you know, and just some honestly great playmaking from both sides. But, you know, just a couple plays from the Seagulls in the first half, you're right, have just, you know, changed this game. Take away 4-0 and you're looking at an 8-7 game.
So the disc will be brought in here by Helen Kraft. Malafama back down in their zone set. It's nice to see that again. Swung over to the near side. Finds Krebs. Back to Kraft.
It's a 4-man cup here. They are forcing towards the flick side, so they're trying to get it on the sideline and trap it where it is right now. But the Seagulls still able to get it around.
And Seagulls just showing patient work right now, shooting into some small spaces and trying to go through the space, but Naomi Campbell was ready for that one. Malafama with a chance here. Esparza finds an option in the middle. Esparza going 1 and 2 now, looking for Mandujano. These two combining very well as Esparza goes up line again. Shoots a gorgeous flick into the end zone, and that one will sit in the back of the end zone. A great throw from Esparza for the score.
That was an outstanding throw. Dre essentially went every other. She's been out playing a ton of points in this game and almost made it look like she came off the bench and hasn't played all game. I mean, great combination work. And that flick, by the way, that is a very difficult throw with the wind coming off her right shoulder. We've seen a bunch of those flicks today that have just turned right into turns right into the ground. She threw it nice and flat, slightly IO for it to be able to sit, and a great rundown. Just that great throw.
I gotta say as well, Kurt, I'd love to see another zone set from these Malafama women coming down here. 12-8, plenty of time left in this game. The zone seems to be working to generate those turns. It's causing Seagulls to make a few decisions into coverage, a little forced throws that they don't need to make, causing some errors we haven't seen from the person defense.
It's exactly what the zone is supposed to do, especially a 4-man cup. That's exactly what they're doing. And on the sidelines, when they swing it over, you could see the Seagulls are trying to get it to the middle, because if they get it past that cup, they're off to the races, right? But they made a quick mistake, threw it a little too late and a little too rushed, and Malafama was able to get that D. So we'll see what they come out with, see what kind of pressure. Looks like a
miscommunication there on who they were supposed to pick up. Coming down in the person set, and the Malafama player didn't find her offender there. Seagulls absolutely punished them for that mistake.
Yeah, we've seen that actually a couple times on both sides today, where there's a little confusion on coming down on the pull. We haven't seen it where one of the offenders has burned their defender deep and made him pay, but this was actually the first time, and the Seagulls made him pay with actually a nice flick hook down the field.
Yeah, Annika Pren there. 2 goals and an assist for her. She's been really, really valuable for the Seagulls team already throughout the week as well. She actually played for them while she was in middle school and high school from 2004 to 2009. So she's been around with this team for a long time, and I think showing her experience, being able to recognize, hey, I don't have a mark on me, and burned the opportunity deep.
Yeah, believe it or not, sometimes when recognizing that a defender is either poaching in the lane or, potentially guarding somebody else, is not always as easy, especially for younger players. But, a veteran like her, she was able to recognize it right away and know exactly where her offender was able to throw the disc for an easy goal.
Seagulls lead 13-8 here. Last round, pool play action in the women's division. Manduhanu finds Esparza, who shoots another beautiful flick huck into space, perfectly sitting into the hands of her receiver. Vasquez shoots a flick into coverage. That one's brought down by Correa. A little bit of a shaky throw on that last play there, but full credit to Malafama. Gorgeous flick huck from Esparza.
Yeah, it was a great, gorgeous flick. Another one from Esparza, and a nice rundown from Malafama to get that goal.
We're going to take a really quick break here. We'll be back soon with more action from Seagulls versus Malafama.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Seeing Esparza now shooting that beautiful flick huck. Plenty of time for Vasquez to run onto that. A little shaky throw, but wonderfully reeled in by Carrera. And now Seagulls on offense here. 2 points away from their first win of the 2018 World Ultimate Championships. Far side now with Seawald. And a tight coverage play there.
Great D by Karen Orellano.
A foul is going to be called by the Seagulls player. That's Olivieri, just thinking that there was some contact that maybe stopped her from getting a shot at the disc there.
Yeah, it looked like Orellana had inside positioning. Looked like one of the Seagulls offenders tried to come back to it, but to me it looked like Karen was in position.
Yeah, tough to tell from that angle. I think Orellana had the inside track for sure.
Yeah, I think that throw was a little bit behind Seagulls offender. Karen was there. We'll see what the game advisor is advising.
Yeah, and always great to have game advisors here as well. An extra set of eyes to come in and tell the players what they saw. Looks like in this case they've advised that it was a foul. Players still make the final call. The game advisors are only there to give their advice. It's still a self-officiated sport. Olivieri shoots back now. Up line, shooting a floaty flick huck. And I think a little bit of redemption there, Malafama getting that disc back.
Yep. I know there's a few folks out there that uses the term the disc doesn't lie, but unfortunately I think that's just been the theme of the game, is a lot of those flicks on that sideline have just not been completions. So, Seagulls maybe 1-2 completions on that side, that not being one of them. So
Malafama with another opportunity here. Looking for Guillen, shoots upfield. Orellana running onto that one, almost loses her footing. Now looking for a reset. Can't find one. She's gonna try to throw the hammer.
Wow, that almost worked, but a great catch from Karen. That pass was not meant for her, and she made a great play. Unfortunately, just a high stall count there.
Around backhand now for the Seagulls. Svenja Prunes on the near sideline, shoots that one back to the middle. Seawald now. And Olivieri shoots a flick hook, looking for Prunes, and Svenja Prunes ran all the way from the handling position there to make that deep strike. Kurt, that is one of my favorite plays in Ultimate.
Which one?
The handler strike.
The handler strike up the line and hit power position.
I love it.
Hook it deep. Well, you know, the thing to notice there, what the Seagulls have not done, one of the few things that they have not done as well as Malafama, but those flicks with the wind coming off the right side, what you saw Esparza do on the last hook she threw, got it high in the air so the wind would keep it up in the air. On that one, it was low and no chance for the wind to help it guide it down onto the field. So, you know, for the learnings for those watching at home, those flicks when the wind is coming off the right side of your flick, get it out there, get it high, give your receiver a chance.
And Daniela Ortiz there with the disc. An uncontested foul call, so the disc will return to her hands here for Malafama. Looking for an option. Looks for Guillen around the back, but that one's too far out of her reach, and now Seagulls a yard out of the end zone with a gifted opportunity here to make this game 14-9. Krebs will pick up the disc. Finds an inside option in Sophia Kipri, and that makes this game 14-9. Seagulls, I think, absolutely in control now at this point. They're on the doorstep, Kurt.
Yeah, not too much worry from the Seagulls really all game, but you know, with that score right there, you know, now they've got really 6 chances to get to 15, and you know, just outstanding play. That's just really experience right there. Some careful throwing, smart throwing, and you know, the cutters that were able to juke out their defenders for an easy score.
Yeah, absolutely incredible play here from Seagulls. They've really shown their experience throughout this game, and looking at some of our stats here as well, you can see that the goals and the assists have come from everyone except for 3 people on their roster as well. They've managed to spread it all across the board, and that is the sight for me of an experienced team who relies and trusts on their entire team as well.
Yeah, you could tell it almost the opposite from Malafama, using, you know, a few better players to really do it all. And you know, in a tournament like this, a lot of games, the heat that it is, a lot more difficult to be able to sustain that over a full game.
Esparza and Mandujano going 1 and 2, leading to the gorgeous Esparza flick hook into the back corner of the end zone, and almost too good of a throw for some of her receivers there.
Yeah, you could tell not the same speed to that receiver that Karen Orellana has, but still Esparza was able to give her offender a chance there to make a play. Still the look you want from Malafama. I mean, that's their best chance at scoring. So, you know, definitely the opportunity that they were looking for.
And the disc falls too low for the outstretched hands of Seidel there. And Seidel falling to the ground after, but Malafama on the doorstep. And a great grab, shot just behind her receiver, manages to hang on. What a grab from the Mexican player there.
That was great from Correa. I mean, one of the youngest players. I think she's 17 years old that made that play. Disc thrown right behind her, running, accelerating through the Frisbee. Watch this. The 17-year-old reaches back just with her fingertips to make that play. You could tell she's extremely excited on that.
A fantastic play there by Correa.
It's good to see they're still having fun out there. Despite the score, you could tell they're happy to be here in this environment. You know, excited that, you know, making some plays against a solid team like the Seagulls.
Yeah, the first world championship for most of this team as well. Possibly the first of many with such a young roster. Great to see them here at the World Ultimate Club Championships. Malafama, a fairly young team in the Mexican scene as well, born out of a mixed team. They wanted to create their own culture of women's ultimate in Mexico. I think they've really come out and they've shown what they can do here, especially in the second half, Kurt.
Yeah, you know, the beauty of these tournaments as well, you know, the World Ultimate Club Championships, is that a lot of these international teams that have youth and, you know, only have experience playing within their own country, each of the different countries have a differing level of experience base. And so by coming to tournaments like this, they can compare themselves in skill level and experience to the competition, you know, learn, you know, and get a gauge of kind of where you stand on the international level. And then not only take that experience back to your home country and only elevate the level of the game within your home country. It's really cool to see.
Definitely a really special opportunity for so many of these countries here this week. Malafama with a chance here to maybe try and go on a couple breaks, maybe try and go on a run. They called a timeout there. They know that this is still game point for Seagulls. At this point, it's a must score on every single point.
It really is. We'll see what they come down with. They're still, I would say, close to 100% on D's in a zone. They have, unfortunately, have come back man and haven't been able to stop the Seagulls. And look, it looks like they're going back to the zone.
Immediately with the hammer to find Pren. Olivieri shoots that back to the middle. Seawald now on the far side finds Pren in the middle. Pren trying to control this offense a little bit as Krebs goes back to Seawald. They're stuck a little bit on that side, opting for the big bladey flick, and somehow that works into the outstretched hands of Linz, just outside of the end zone now. And unfortunately, that one is too far out of the reach of Annika Pren. A gift here for Malafama.
Truly a gift.
A big backhand hook. Mandujano shoots that, finds Bianca Mijes. Mijes goes around.
Wow.
That one's a beautiful goal. Malafama not going away easily here, Kurt.
That was an incredible near full field backhand throw. That was Mandujano, I believe, that threw that. Another lefty throwing it upwind. What a great turn of events, actually. A little gift for Malafama, by the way. Although they ran the zone and still managed to get the turn. I'm not sure what it is, but even though the Seagulls had an easy throw, they still unable to convert right there. Look at this throw.
Gorgeous read here from Bianca Mijes as well. And just a good patience first, waits for her player to get open, and Vasquez with the score. 14-11 now, and I mean, you never want to say never, Kurt.
Is Malafama now winning the second half?
Malafama is absolutely winning the second half right now.
Well, I think they are, if they're not 100% in conversions when they run a zone in the second half, then they're close to it, and I would hope that they come out, if they want to win this game, that they come out in another zone. And despite Seagulls figure out a break through it, they've made a mistake.
They've made mistakes every single time Malafama has come down in that zone, despite breaking through it, like you said. So great to see it. Looks like it will be a zone set again from Malafama. Just shooting it around to the far side.
Those are risky throws. Oof.
Oh, and Naomi Campbell almost gets to there.
That was very close. You got to tighten up here on the zone and not let those off.
Another big flick across into the wind as well, as Prunes now finds an option on the far sideline. Seagulls just swinging it around here. Krebs now to the near side for Linz.
So for the folks watching at home, what this zone is trying to do, they've got to try to lock them on the sideline, but they're not getting the set quick enough. Their zone is a little bit too big, a little bit gap, and now they're transitioning to man.
Krebs finds Olivieri, fakes the hammer, goes inside. Prunes now shoots into the end zone, finds Linz, And that will do it for Germany Seagulls winning their first game of the World Ultimate Club Championships. And Kurt, what an incredible game. What a phenomenal second half for Malafama as well.
No, truly an exciting half to watch. You know, the second half proved to just be, you know, I think what was the score? Was Malafama win the second half? But if not, I mean, great plays on both sides. You know, you really saw an improvement from the way Malafama played in the first half. You know, Seagulls obviously showing excellent patience with the disc for the most part, albeit a few mistakes here and there. Played pretty clean ultimate, but it was pretty cool. I almost felt like we saw Malafama grow from the first half to the second half, right? Almost like a mini growth, or, you know, mini season right there from Malafama despite the loss.
Absolutely, that's something you want to see from the whole week of this World Championships as well. It's one of the best things about how long this tournament is. It really does give them a chance to grow throughout the week. Now we're seeing some of those gorgeous backhand throws here from the Seagulls. Seagulls with their first win of the World Ultimate Club Championships here in Ohio. That will do it for us. Rebecca Thompson up here in the booth with Kurt Gibson, and it's been a great game. We'll be back live with more action with Power Pools tomorrow.